In Cluster 4, you learnt about safety procedures in the reception area. The procedures and/or safety regulations are no different in any other position in the organization. In this topic, we will expand on when we can deviate from the procedures as well as the types of violent situations that could take place. So what does it mean to deviate? It means depart from an established course. Procedures are established courses of the necessary steps that need to be taken in differing circumstances. However, it may at times be necessary to deviate from the norm. If we take a look at the example picture, you wouldn't necessarily be able to ask this guy that's lurking from the side who he is, or if he's there to see someone. Is he loitering, what the position is, because he's actually holding a knife. In this case, scream and run. No, not really. Remain calm and look for a way to escape and alert the security. So when can we deviate from procedures? In the case of fire, in the case of armed robbery, when you're on your way from a bank and you suspect armed robbers are following you, when someone gets seriously ill at work or isn't seriously injured, when the paper for the copier or consumables have run out, when you suspect a client or a colleague is involved in criminal activity, when you have to arrange an urgent meeting and the room where the meeting is held is occupied, when equipment has been broken down and repairs can't be made immediately, when a parcel is left behind by a visitor and it looks as if it may contain explosives or other suspect material. Standard national and provincial procedures in the case of an emergency. The National Police, which is known in South Africa, is the South African Police Service, or SAPS, can and should be called whenever there's a violent situation. The SAPS also issue crime-fighting tips from time to time to assist the general public to prevent criminals perpetrating crimes against them. The testimony of witnesses help police catch the perpetrators, and once the police have enough evidence to take action, they report the matter to the National Prosecuting Authority. Vital tips to remember when being hijacked or an attempted hijacking. Have a look around for a person that maybe bumps into you from behind. Don't get out instantly. Go to the nearest police station if possible. Don't get out of your car to remove pamphlets from under your wipers. Always keep your car window a little open. Don't listen to loud music while you're driving. Always keep your fuel tank at least a quarter full. When you stop at robots, always leave enough space between the motors in front of you and behind you. Never leave your handbag or cell phone on the passenger seat. When you drive, always be aware of vehicles in front, behind, and around you. Always lock your doors. Avoid unsafe areas, and especially females shouldn't drive alone at night. Strikes are forms of industrial action. When workers resort to industrial action, for whatever the reason, they are emotionally charged, and such incidents of industrial action have been known to escalate into violence and damage of property. A mass action is a form of peaceful protest against, for example, violence against women, where many people gather to protest. This way they can bring their grievances to the attention of the environment, the press, and the public in general. Strikes and mass actions are supposed to be done peacefully, but this is not always the case. Riots, on the other hand, are violent disturbances of peace by a crowd of people. Immediately call the police in cases like this and send all the employees home if it's in an organizational environment. When involved in a criminal or a bad situation, never look the perpetrator in the eyes. Whatever they ask, give it to them. Don't try and be a hero. Don't argue with a criminal. Don't make any sudden movements. Don't shout or scream hysterically. This will unsettle the criminals and cause them to act violently. Do not try to run away. They might shoot. Stay calm. Try and remember as much detail as possible about the criminals. Contact the police after the accident immediately, or during the incident, have a look to see of ways that you could possibly alert security and or alert the police. After a crime has taken place, the following needs to be done. Assist the police. Don't tamper with evidence. Don't leave the crime scene without permission from the police. Some measures can be taken in terms of prevention of crime. We can have security patrols, gather information, process of information, and gather through to security patrols and the access control systems. It is important to be able to adapt your performance when in differing provinces and or countries. Security personnel must acquaint themselves with legislation relating to security operations in other countries, which might differ from what they are used to, and adapt their strategies and procedures accordingly. Now, security personnel belong to the legislative regulatory body SERA, and all security personnel need to go through a typical grade security course. And that's a wrap for Cluster 5, Topic 5, Maintaining a Secure Working Environment. Be aware of differing circumstances in case of emergency. This will assist in knowing when to deviate from procedures. Be informed of national and provincial protection procedures. Avoid areas where mass action, riots, and or strikes are taking place. Be vigilant and always on the lookout for suspecting activity. Always assist the police after a crime to advance the investigation. Be aware of differing procedures of other countries.